Years of thanks. NACAC Rural and Small Town SIG. I am the Director of Advising and Scholar Support for the LimFest Scholars Foundation, which helps kids in parts of rural Pennsylvania get to and through college. Today, we are going to have our friends from the AXS Companion. First, Megan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Kim. Hi, everyone. If we haven't met yet, my name is Megan Roberts. I work full-time at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, where I lead a scholarship program for students from the Upper Peninsula, which is a rural, kind of remote region of our state. So that's my full-time role, but I'm also co-leader of the SIG with Kim. And yeah, super excited for this session today. I think it's going to be really practical and useful for a lot of our members. So thanks, everyone, for coming.
All right, so just a couple things before we get started. All right. So navigating Zoom, if you have questions throughout the presentation, you can utilize the chat. We will be keeping an eye on that. So if you have questions, feel free to put them there. We are recording this session, so we will be sending it out to everybody in the days following the presentation. All right, so our speakers today are Anne Holmdahl. Did I connect? Thanks.
Great job.
And Marilyn O'Toole, and they are from the AXS Companion tool, which is very exciting. We all have kids that are in the thick of trying to navigate the Common Application at this point. So we're excited to talk about the tools and the resources that they have available for counselors to help their students get through using the Common App and answer all those questions and concerns that students are constantly asking us. So I am going to turn it over to them. Oops.
And a quick question I had, Kim, is are the counselors to use the chat or the Q&A?
Oh, there's only the chat that's available.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't see the Q&A, so I wondered. Thank you. What a lovely introduction, Kim. And thank you, Megan, for having AXS Companion here today. Hi to everyone who's here today, all the counselors. Thank you for your good work. Let me start off by saying that we know how challenging it can be and how busy all of you are. So thank you so much for being here today. And Anne, would you like to do a quick introduction?
Sure. I am Anne Holmdahl. I'm an independent counselor in the Seattle, Washington area, but my other half of my life is spent out in very rural Eastern Washington. If anyone knows the Eastern Washington area at all, we are in Ferry County. We have about 800 acres up there. We own 2¼ miles of the Canadian border, so we're way out in the boonies up there. And my experiences out there have really kind of helped to form my interest in working with kids in these rural and small town areas. I'm also the co-leader of a group of independent counselors who either live in or work with kids in rural areas. So this is my little passion. And I've been working with Marilyn, who is amazing, getting this AXS Companion kind of going, and just a little volunteer in the world of the AXS Companion. And I hope that you will absolutely love this tool and be able to use it with your students or share it with kids around the country.
Thank you,
Marilyn,
Anne.
you're on.
And I'm in urban Los Angeles. So although my husband is from a very rural community of less than 100 people in Iowa, so I have been there and visited those communities, and certainly visited many of the communities around the world. But if one counselor had not paid attention to my husband, he would have a very different life. And I'm so grateful they did. Thank you for the good work you do. So I'm going to share my screen now, and it's going to do a reintroduction. I hope everybody a little patient with me as I do this transition. And thank you. Okay. I don't know as I want that. I'm thinking maybe I want just regular old. There we go. All right. So This is the AXS Companion is here. Here's the AXS Toolbox. First, I'm going to describe the AXS Companion and then the Toolbox, which I think you'll appreciate. The AXS Companion is for students, to support students as they navigate the Common App. The AXS Toolbox is to support counselors as they guide students through Common App. So that's the difference between the two. First, I'm going to explain and go over how students can use the AXS Companion. And Megan, I think you said you were sharing some of the AXS Companion cards with students. And it shows them the QR code and everything that they need. It's a small business card size. Here it is. These cards, and it's got the small QR code on them. And I'm happy if anybody puts their address in the chat, I'm happy to have those sent, and it will just speed them along. And maybe you won't have to answer as many questions as you currently are answering. Why did we create the AXS Companion? It was created during COVID. Initially, we were working with our students, educational consultant, as is Anne, and we have about 2,000 members of our professional group, IECA. We were noticing that our students during COVID who didn't have that opportunity to go visit with their high school counselor, we noticed that they were more lost than usual. They were feeling untethered. And when we saw that and we thought, well, all of them were so appreciative to have us. But for those who didn't have a private counselor or have someone to speak with, we realized that it would be so beneficial if we could do a recording. We would collectively edit the script, and therefore it would be fairly accurate. We would work with Common App, and we would then provide that for the students. We'd try to put together a video library of sorts. In the midst of putting these together during COVID, it was released by the data from Common App that 41% of the students who opened a Common App in 2021 did not complete a single application. Obviously, that was alarming, so that our goal was to support those students and really move this forward in a more rapid manner. So what we did is we created the AXS Companion. Oregon State volunteered the platform. John Bockenstead was kind enough to offer to build the platform with the Oregon State eCampus, which is where it will be housed for the next year. The AXS Companion, and then it will go independent. The AXS Companion contains 70 step-by-step videos, 76, I think, financial aid videos in English and in Spanish, various resources, and it's to take students from beginning to end. It's free, there's no login or student tracking, and there's no advertisements, there's no self-promotion. So no one will ever feel that, oh no, I'm getting nagged by that counselor to take an essay class with them. We don't do that. That isn't on the AXS Companion. And when I did mention that we would not be with Oregon State anymore, the URL will remain the same. It's just going to be independent, and it offers us a lot of advantages in a really good way. Although we are so grateful, and Oregon State will always be part of this institutional product. Next is the AXS Companion. So I'm going to take you on. This is a link to it, but it's accesscompanion.org. Super easy to find. And this is the AXS Companion. This is the homepage. This will open the AXS Companion. This is for students again, but remember, you can just roll down. But a lot of people get trapped on this Pressbook page. So we say you can open it by clicking this because often people don't scroll down. Here's a very short video of how to navigate Common App. And here's this is the link to the AXS Toolbox for counselors. We put it on this page so that you can find it easily. If we scroll down to the contents, you can see that the AXS Companion mirrors everything that's on Common App. So it's creating your Common App account, profile, family, education, etc. But when you go to these sections, let's just say let's do creating your Common App account. It lets the students know you're at the very beginning on this pencil, because of course this is the eraser. And then it's a quick introduction from Karen Richardson, who's with Princeton University. Welcoming students, she was first gen, she's welcoming students through the process. Opening an account, this is what the landing page will look like. We make sure that the students know they're on the right page. There's always a screenshot of what the landing page looks like so they know they're where they should be. Before you begin, here's what the student should have. And then here's a quick video explaining how to open a Common App account, set it up. You don't see our faces. They're just the narrator's voices, and it's just an animated version of the application. I'm going to do a couple of more of these that are maybe a little less lengthy than creating a Common App account, but this gives you an idea what the contents are. Here's one that gives students an overview of the 5 tabs of Common App, explaining the difference of the 5 tabs and where they will take them, which of course is always, there are always questions students have, or they actually go to the wrong place on occasion.
Hey, Marilyn, sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. Is there any way you can go to full screen on this page? If folks are asking if there's a way you can go to full screen instead of just seeing part of your.
I don't know if I can go to full screen. Do you know if I can?
There's a way, I
So,
don't know.
Marilyn, when you share, you can choose to share just a window instead of your full screen, and that might make it a little bit bigger.
And where would I find that? On my share button? Let's go to
Yep,
share,
when you hit the green arrow that says share screen,
right?
you'll be able to choose what you want to share. And if you just choose that tab, it'll help minimize like some of the applications in your desktop background there.
Okay, well, this would be kind of scary because I don't know how to do that, but I'm happy to try. Would I do this one that says layouts or, yeah. I've never had anyone ask me that, so I'm
Sorry.
Yeah, I've never had anyone ask me that, so I don't know. I don't know is today is the day that would be really brilliant to try. I don't, but when I go into these, it will expand into the full size. Okay, I will go into them and they'll expand in the full size, but I'm giving you now an overview as you would see it on as you would see it on the website. So if a student wanted to, for instance, let's just go right into this video. It's a nice video explaining the AXS Companion.
The AXS Companion opens on a Getting Started page that provides an overview of what the companion contains and how to use the resources. The Contents section can be located in the upper left corner on your desktop or in the middle on a mobile device. If you're looking for something specific, use the search tool located in the upper right-hand side of your desktop or in the menu on the upper right-hand side of a mobile device. Let's start by opening Contents and then selecting Common App tab. Each page has a pencil at the top that will help you track your progress. And every page has a Tips and Reminders section at the bottom to help you navigate your way through Common App. If you don't understand what a word means, select Vocabulary and Key Terms from the main menu to find an alphabetized glossary. Throughout the AXS Companion, there are videos as well as resources to support each step of filling in Common App. They can be found in the corresponding section within the AXS Companion. For example, in the Activities section, there are steps to follow and videos with examples of completed Common App sections. Let's go to Create Your Common App account. Our video will walk you step by step through opening your account. We also offer guidance on how to fill out each of the different sections in Common App, including Profile, Family, Education, Testing, Activities, Writing, and Courses and Grades. To add a college to your list, follow the instructions found under the College Search and List tab. After you've added your colleges, go to the My Colleges tab to find each college's specific requirements. If you click a college that you've added to your list, you will see questions, writing supplements, and the FERPA release and requirements for letters of recommendation. If you want to learn more about financial aid, click Financial Aid and Resources. The goal of AXS Companion is to simplify the application process, making it easy to successfully submit your applications.
So that is how you navigate the AXS Companion. There's a welcome here from John Bockenstead. And then this explains Common App, which is really valuable in my eyes. It's a nice cartoon and animation that they created at Oregon State. So this is those are just the overview. And now I'm going to dive into the sections that we find in our practices are the most valuable. And I would list those as we typically find, which would be filling in education, filling in activities, writing. We have areas to go to for writing and suggestions and lots of resources to use there. Courses and grades, I'll just briefly go over. We do provide links to SARS. So if students have questions about that, we also put that here, the links for, I'm going to click courses and grades quickly because we know that this can really be time consuming to help students guide them through courses and grades. We do a very good job with this video, but here we provided the link to the SARS website that includes videos of how to fill that in. So if it's, whether it's the University of Oregon or University of Pittsburgh, this is where they can go and actually follow along. We just put this in here, although we know it's not part of Common App, we put that in there. We thought it was a valuable addition. And then the other points we'll go over will be briefly writing supplemental essays showing you where you can guide students, where you can send them, and then the FERPA release. That one so that students don't do that wrong. And then the submitting college applications. We have a nice video there to send to students so that they will follow up on their applications and know that they need to be responsible for following up on that all the materials have arrived at each college. So starting in education, does anyone have any questions at this point, Anne? Or can I move on to education? Okay, great.
We're doing great.
Okay, good. So this is education. Scrolling down, education this is the landing page. Here is the first video, which is how to complete the education section for your current high school. This is how to complete the application for a secondary high school or an online class, which so many students have done, where to find the school, dates, and so forth. You'll note the animation here in this. That's, again, you don't see us, you see the animation as we are speaking. This is completing the section for a college or university if a student did dual enrollment at another school or took a summer school class, indicating to them, showing them how to fill this in. And then this is completing the education section of Common App. We could go to possibly, why don't we just try the first one? I'll just put this one on, just extend this out.
Within the education section of the Common App, the purpose of the other secondary/high school step is to inform colleges of any high school programs you have enrolled in other than your current high school. This section takes about 3 minutes to complete. The question is if you've attended other secondary high schools. Other means other than the high or secondary school already listed. Enter 0 if you've only attended the school entered in the current or most recent secondary school section. Or enter the number of additional secondary schools you attended. If you've attended more than one high school or enrolled in an online class, then the school or schools will need to be added in this section. If you've attended or enrolled in more than one school, please indicate the total number of schools. If you're unsure whether to add an online high school program in this section, check with your high school counselor or an administrator. You must add the name of each school and the dates of attendance. In this box, you must provide an explanation as to why you attended another high school and why you left each high school. The reasons could be your family moved and that required changing schools permanently. You enrolled in a summer program outside of your high school. You took an online class that was not offered at your current high school. You retook a class because of a low grade. You wanted to explore a new subject not offered at your current school. Provide a simple and clear explanation of why you enrolled in more than one school. When you've answered this section, click Continue.
Okay, you can see this is simple, it's clear, it's animated, and students can speed this up to any speed they want. They can just go to the gear, shift, change that to a faster speed. So that gives you an idea. This goes to completing the education grades, completing the education section for the current or most recent year courses. We explain this in detail, first semester, second semester, whatever the case might be that is complicated, how to do each part of the question. And then moving on to honors, community-based organizations, and future plans. So that's the education section. And I think that all of us will agree this can be a section that will be time-consuming and not always done correctly. We have a testing section. There's activities. The overview touched on that, but there's also a couple of new videos that are really nice that I've shared with my students, and you might value these. Here's a video from Dr. Lacoste from Caltech explaining what type of activities to fill in and why colleges want to hear about those activities and how that will be read holistically and completely. It's really great. She touches on a lot of things that are in the humanities, which is kind of surprising that she touched on them in so many ways, and family responsibilities. It wasn't just about research, and it's quite good. And here's one from Barnard College. It's quite good as well, explaining this is just for students to read and to get an idea, oh, this is what I can fill in. Additionally, we give step-by-step instructions in this. This is using active verbs, explaining how to use them. And then as the video indicated, we've got completed sections, which we thought were important for students to see, that they'd know what the verbiage should look like. It's not saying I built 4 benches with the help of my friends and my troop leader. It's how to keep that really succinct. And so these are nice samples that you can just send the students to. Oh, right. Next section that our students tend to have questions about is writing. This we've got in the section on writing. It lets them know where they land. We've got a section that explains how an admissions officer is going to review the entire application and where the writing fits in. This is Vice Chancellor Todd Reinhardt from University of Denver, and he just explains how important the personal statement is within reading the application. Then we have advice from NACAC explaining what they like, what their advice is to students. Here are addition instructions, and then we've got also additional information, when to add it, when not to. And here are a couple of students and admissions officers offering advice. So this should be a nice place to send students when they're especially starting out doing their essays. Going into the questions section, as we mentioned, we have financial aid videos, and those are in English and Spanish. In the questions section, there are a lot of questions that students are asked about their residency, and we explain in English, and you'll note this in where is that question section? It's completing it in family and residency. We have this in Spanish as well, so that families can understand that this question is about residency to determine in-state and out-of-state, as opposed to so for anyone to be calling anyone about immigration, that's not what this question, the purpose of it is. There's completing the section in Common App activities, adding a resume, honors colleges, and then family, I mentioned the family residency, academics, and then test optional policies. And then these additional questions that actually sometimes can be essays in disguise. And we think that that's important. That ends up being very challenging for students that don't anticipate that, which is why in this section, we suggest students start early in going over the questions. Further,
Just to be clear, Marilyn, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. Just to be clear, this is the part that is the college specific section of the Common App. So I get confused sometimes. I know kids are like, what do you mean questions? What are questions? Like, this is in that college specific section. So you have the name of the university, and then it has the questions that are specific to the college. So just wanted to throw that in there and make sure everybody knew where we were, which questions we were talking about. Because there's a lot of questions in the Common App.
There are a lot. Let's look at like Indiana. You've got the question section here. That's what those videos are answering. That's the question section, right? Okay. Thank you, Anne. Recommenders in FERPA is always, I think, a time-consuming aspect for all of us. And this is where students actually decide they want to see their letters of recommendation. This explains to them that waiving their right will mean that when they waive their right, that the letter remains private, and that people who are professional independent educational consultants highly recommend that they waive their right. We just think it's very important that they know we explain to them what the problems would be if they did not. Okay, and then requesting letters of recommendation. We do this, and most of this is check with your school counselor if you're using Maya or Naviance or anything that would have a different process than Common App. Moving on from there, we've got submitting college applications. I sort of touched on this. This is a really great video, and I'm going to show this to you because it's great. And I'm hoping the volume's good.
In this step, we will explain how you can verify that your application is completed from the college's perspective, confirming that all required transcripts, test scores, and letters of recommendation have been received by the colleges where you have submitted an application. If you have submitted an application, congratulations, well done. But it is important for you to know that a submitted application does not mean that your application is complete. After you submit your college applications, most colleges will send you a confirmation via email, indicating that your application has been received. The confirmation may include a login address and a student ID number to create an account on the college's portal. It is important that you create an account on the college's portal and check that account often to be certain that your application is complete. Colleges will use this portal to communicate with you about your application, especially if anything in your application is incomplete. It is your responsibility to ensure that all parts of your application are received by the college. Please save all the communication information regarding your application, particularly the ID number, login information, and password. Saving college application passwords. Cutting and pasting all of this information onto a Google Doc or Word doc.
Okay, so I think you get the idea of how this works. And again, it's just to save you that step. You can send them to this and hopefully they'll make that document, save it, as opposed to every meeting I have with students, they're scrolling through their emails looking for their password. And that really
Hey,
brings
Marilyn, sorry. Could you just show really quickly how people could send a link to an individual video or screen?
Absolutely.
to their
I'm going to
student?
do that in 1 second when I get to the AXS Toolbox.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, that's it. Then we're going here, the financial aid. This is everything in financial aid. This is done by Jeff Levy. Jeff Levy does private one-on-one meetings, but he also does many group presentations, but he did an entire section here on financial aid. It is in English and in Spanish, and it's every part of sticker price versus net price, understanding need-based aid, and this is all in English and Spanish, understanding FAFSA, and that is updated, understanding loans, understanding merit aid, and then finally building a smart list. This is for counselors as well as for families. Primarily, this is in several places within the AXS Companion. You'll find this in the counselor section and in the parent section as well. Additionally, here's where worksheets live. You can click this to open. We've put together worksheets that will help students. Any counselors can use these. These are all free. All you have to do is go to File, click Make Copy, copy the document, and then it's yours. Then these are general questions, financial aid resources, standardized testing, college search, how to create a college list, exploring majors, resources for writing application, essays, resources for specific populations. This is very nice, Big Future, Campus Pride, Hillel, College Equity, HBCU, etc. And then learning differences. We also have this. So these are just resources, again, that we have listed, resources and worksheets. Vocab and key terms is valuable for everybody because sometimes we don't know what a certain term means. And so we've got this all in alphabetical order. And lastly, about us, we're independent educational consultants, and we did this. There's no money involved and no one received anything, including a fruitcake or anything at all. No one wants a fruitcake, but there's nothing we've received. We're doing this because it's important to us to increase access for everyone. This is a videos only section for the students who will do nothing but watch videos, won't read anything. They can just go here, and then all the videos are here based on every video for every section is just here. So after we created the AXS Companion, we came to realize that we went to, well, we've had a lot of users. This 58,000 was just last year. We have a lot of users on this, but our outreach efforts included going to colleges and universities and high schools and CBOs and not-for-profits and doing regional and national conferences, which is where we ended up at ASCA and where the counselors asked us, how would I use this with my students? And we thought, well, you just give them a link. Well, of course, it doesn't work like that, right? So what we decided would be maybe beneficial, it's an option of everyone to use, is if we created the AXS Toolbox. And in it, adaptable lesson plans for high school counselors that include step-by-step videos for students, their slides, step-by-step videos, student worksheets, and then resources. So we're now going to take you in and show you the AXS Toolbox and how you can use it to share the AXS Companion with students, or don't use the AXS Companion if you don't want to. You can use the lesson plans that we put together in any way that you would want. So this is the landing page. It's accesstoolbox.org. How to use it is a very short video, I think 4 minutes. Here's the link to the AXS Companion, then the link to the Common App, because students will be toggling between the two in a workshop or in a classroom or in a presentation maybe. It would be up to you to use it as you want. There's a contact form here if there are any materials you would like. If you would like to have some of these cards sent, you can just go to the accesstoolbox.org, and if you want some cards, I will send them to you, and this would be for you to give to your students. Just say, Johnny, here you go, you figured this out. The other thing we have that are quite nice is these are Post-it notes, and you could stick those on a transcript. In other words, you could put a little note here and say, fill in education. right? So watch your education, fill in the education section like that and stick it on the transcript. It's just a Post-it note, but they're the good 3M kind that actually stick. So that's the goal of using those. And if you want them, just click the contact form. These are the 10 adaptable lesson plans. So when you open this up, again, the same directions are click. Every day I've got someone who's trying to access and edit my documents. You go in, you click on your screen when you open the documents on Google Docs, click File, make a copy the document, and then it's yours to do as you wish. These are the lesson plans. And I'm going to show you there's another way to get in here that you'll like maybe more, that will show the lesson plans and the contents. But I'm going to take you to lesson 2, which is setting up the Common App. If you were doing a first session, this might be what you would do. But going back to what I said is the overview. This is an explanation of what each lesson plan has. It has the lesson plan and slides and a conclusion and homework. Okay, so they're for all of the different topics. So it's creating a college list, getting started, education and testing, activities, personal statement or writing, my colleges tab, college questions, questions with essays and supplemental writing, FERPA, letters of rec, and submission of application. But going down to lesson 2, which is what I originally started with, here are the objectives, which many school districts will ask for a lesson plan that has objectives and then has the contents of the lesson plan. Here are the objectives. Here's the lesson plan, conclusion, homework, assessments, and then tips and reminders. But in top of that, here are the slides. And these slides are here. And expanding this is starting, there's the AXS Companion, and this is one of the student worksheets. They all have a blue background. This is what a student needs to start. How to create a Common App account. Here's the video. This is an AXS Companion video explaining. It's a hyperlink. So when it's clicked, you'll go to the YouTube video. Okay, so that can all be done in the classroom. This next says, oh, now you go to the Common App. Here's the link. You'll go to the Common App to create an account. So it's a direct link to Common App. And then, of course, please save your password is key. Next, this is creating your college list. This is the AXS Companion video. This is, the AXS Companion video. This is the AXS Companion section. You know it's a video because it says video. And then the next is, this is the Common App, going to college search and creating the list. And you go down here, this is then creating profile, a couple of videos that we would recommend that are kind of nice to show in the classroom. And then when it goes to green, that's homework. And that's giving that to the students. This is the homework you'll do until we meet next week, next month, whatever the case might be. So there are 10 lesson plans. And they're adaptable, they're yours. Everything within them is adaptable. You can change the slides out as you wish, following the same directions. Going back to this, so this is individually, you click each one that you want to use, or you can go, there's a single lesson plan. I don't know who's getting through the Common App in a single lesson plan, but I'm impressed and I'd love to know how they're doing that. Then going back, if you wanted to go back to the home page, going back on the home page is easy to do. Anne mentioned, where would you go to get a video link directly to name a section? Let's say you wanted to do supplemental essays, right? So this is every video, every section of the AXS Companion is here. And so if a student says, I don't know, I missed the workshop. What do I do to fill in education? You can just copy and paste this entire thing and drop it in an email. This will take the student to the section of education. These will take them directly to the links. There are hyperlinks inside of them. The one I would like to show you is in the My Colleges section. Let's look at, here's the writing section. A lot of us are dealing with this right now, is a writing section for the supplemental essays. Let's go directly to, there's really good advice from the Dean of Admissions at University of Southern California in how to write the YS essay. So you could just go directly here or drop this into an email, just drop it in. But this will take us directly to that video.
I knew I was underwater. I just didn't realize I was this underwater.
Essays, personal statements, and writing samples are commonly required elements of admission applications. Colleges ask for these things because we want to hear directly from our applicants. We're interested in learning what they think and believe, what their passions and interests are, and what motivates them to pursue higher education. Now, it's easy to assume that colleges will grade your application essays like they were class assignments. However, in my experience, that's not quite how it works. Sure, it's important that you provide your best written work, but it's quality content and what you have to say that we're really seeking. See, we care about your ideas and perspectives, and this is your chance to speak directly to the admission committee. So make it count. In college admissions, we talk a lot about the concept of fit, meaning how well might a student fit into our student body? Can we see them thriving here? Will we be able to challenge them and support them and encourage and even satisfy them if they come to our college? Now, of course, we can get a pretty good idea about these things from other parts of your application, but I found that a valuable source of information is the applicant's own writing. This is why a lot of colleges ask for it. You know, when I pick up an application, the first thing that I usually do, even before looking at the transcript, is read the students' essays. One very popular essay prompt you'll encounter will be what some people call the why us question. It may come in different forms, but be on the lookout for essay questions or prompts that are asking you to explain why you're interested in a particular college, or maybe even an area of study that you're planning on pursuing. And they might even be as direct as asking something like, why should we accept you? Now, it's worth mentioning that these aren't trick questions, and there's no right or wrong answer, or even a perfect response in every case. But if you spend some time reflecting on your own interests and motivations, as well as doing a little additional research about the colleges that you're considering, I think you'll be able to provide a compelling answer to any why us question.
In this essay, in this video, he goes on to explain, please do not reword what we have written on the admissions page, because the chances are fairly great that one of us wrote it that will be reading your application. And I had a student do it the other day. And then I was able to ask him, did you watch the video? And he said, oh, maybe I missed that part, meaning he never watched it at all. So I really just want to emphasize it's pretty great because it takes the responsibility off of me. Did you read this? But it's very good. I asked Tim Brunel to do this because he doesn't speak to students. He speaks to counselors. And so I wanted always, because I think he's very clear in what an admissions officer wants to read in any YS essay, whether that's Wisconsin or Michigan or SMU or any college, what they want. He makes it really clear what that is. At 250 words, you've got Wisconsin. At 650, you've got Tulane. You've got those schools with big quantity of words, but a big word count. But this is really good because it helps and it takes the responsibility off of me, and they don't have to listen to me. And you can just send them the link. It makes it super easy. So that's what this document is for. This is also a QR code for this document. I know that's odd that there's a QR code on this for the document, but some people print this and they leave it on their desk for their kids. And then the kids, when they say go here, as opposed to having to send it to them, the QR code for this document is there. The student can find what they need. And that takes the responsibility. Again, all of this is to save steps for the counselors. There's a printable PDF for the toolbox if you ever needed it, but there's a printable PDF for the AXS Companion if you wanted to put it possibly in your office or have it on your desk. This is another idea. And this explains a little bit about the different sections that the students would look at if you wanted to have that available as well. Here are the student worksheets that we mentioned, and these are, again, go to the menu bar, how to make your own copy. This one I particularly like. You could use this for any college. This isn't for a Common App school. This is the college name. You put it the college name, the application platform, the application deadline, and then the number of supplemental essays. So if it's the University of California, that's going to be a different application platform than Common App. These are the hyperlinks to the AXS Companion for college research. We think it's important that students know financial aid and review that before building the list with schools that are unaffordable. Going further down, this checklist includes then the different tabs, creating a Common App profile, etc., and then the My Colleges tab as well that Anne pointed out. After the students have their college list, they can go in to answer these questions, and then they can check them off when they've completed them. This is an electronic document. Of course, it can be printed if that would be better. Going back, we also have got an activities brainstorming sheet. This is pretty great for any college. It's a Google Doc. Again, make it your own, or the students can. But this is because it's a Google Doc and it can expand into any size needed. And then lastly, we put the Common App essay topics in a handout so the students can look at these, and it's a simple next step. That's in the worksheets and handouts. And then going back to the toolbox, lastly, resources with links and the vocabulary and key terms are here. So you don't have to go back to the AXS Companion. We cut and pasted and put it in this section as well. And then this takes you back to the AXS Companion. This is the 10 lesson plans with slides only. If you don't want a lesson plan, you just want the slides, it's here. And this is for the single lesson plan that, again, someone's going to show me if they do it in one lesson. I would love to see that. There's the one slide, one set of slides, one lesson. So that is the AXS Companion. The AXS Toolbox is for you to use. And if there are any questions, I'm just so happy to answer them.
I'm going to jump in real quick while we wait to see if there's any other questions. One of my favorite school counselors, what she has chosen to do with this is put the link to the AXS Companion on her counseling page at their school website so that kids can just click there first. I know a lot of times students have, days or weeks that they have to wait to get in line to get into the counseling office. And so just being able to put that link there, UIUC actually has the link to the AXS Companion on their website as well. So, feel free to post this any place you want to share this however you want to. Click on that link and we'll get you some cards and whatever else you need. But it's a great way to get information to kids quickly. And then if they still have questions, obviously they come back to you or to someone in the counseling office. But when you get the same question, I work with about 50 seniors every year, and you start to feel like you're losing every little marble you have left in your head because you've answered this. Didn't I already tell you this? Oh no, that was the other kid. So it's great to be able to send those frequently asked question things, especially to the kids, and say, here, look at this first, and then come back to me if you still have questions.
Kim, did you have anything that you've used this? Have you had students have any questions?
Do you want to unshare, Marilyn, maybe?
Echoing what Anne said, I'm asking answering that same question a million times. How do I add a recommender again? And what do I need to do before I do? So it's great. I'm putting a link in our newsletter that we send to students. And that AXS Toolbox is just, you've done a lot of the work for us. So it makes it easy to just like copy and paste things and include things to students. Yeah. And those cards that I can give out to juniors and seniors actually.
Yes,
really helpful.
Absolutely. And then we do have cards that are for counselors. If you have other counselors in your office, there's a card. The AXS Companion card for students, obviously you give them this, you wouldn't want to give them this side, but then we have these as well. So, and then Post-it notes. So just let us know. You can even put it in the chat, and we're happy to send those to you. And along with these wonderful Post-it notes, which anyone who's used them really does love them. I don't meet students in person, so I don't have a need for them. But if you're meeting them in person, and you, especially if you have schools with courses and grades, and then adding the SARS, this is a nice thing. You can tell them to go there. So wonderful. So Kim, you received the box of things that I sent you?
Yes, it was like, Christmas morning, opening up my little box of stuff.
Was there a little candy in there?
I think there was candy in there.
Maryland throws Jolly Ranchers in every,
That's
so
right.
you don't get a fruitcake, but you do
Amazing. I
get some
love
Jolly
them.
Ranchers there.
Everybody likes Jolly Ranchers, right?
Absolutely. So Cynthia, if you go to the AXS Toolbox page and hit that contact us, or if you want to put your email address, or excuse me, your mailing address in here, we can grab it out of here. But
Right here.
the easiest way is to go here and let us know that you are a school counselor or a CBO or an admissions person. I mean, if you are a college admissions person on here and you're out visiting high schools and would be willing to hand out cards to the school counselors at the schools you visit, the toolbox cards, we're just trying to get the word out. This is a labor of love on Maryland's part for the most part, and all of us who've done a little tiny bit of helping along the way, and we just want it to get used. So feel free to share this far and wide.
Well, it is getting used a lot. I don't want anyone to think
no.
Yeah. So, well, no, we've got Reach Higher did a social media campaign with us last year. We love that we're working with the rural special interest groups. And yes, thank you. And thank you. It's wonderful. We're so grateful to have been here today.
So sorry, Laura, you can actually go into the AXS Toolbox and click on that link that Marilyn was pointing out that has the flyers for AXS Companion and AXS Toolbox. So you can print that. It is an 8.5 by 11 sheet. You can print that out and drop that into your newsletter.
I'll show you. It looks exactly like this. If you print it, that's the size of it, and that's what it'll look like. And the QR code will just be in the window or right there on a bulletin board, and you're just done. I can also send you cards that look like this, that are 5 by 7, but you just let me know what you want. But the PDF is already there as a link. Were there any other questions?
All right. Thank you guys so much. Great.
Thank
Yes,
you.
if there are any other questions, I'm seeing the chat, but I can't.
I think we've got them all.
Okay. All right, great. I just want to remind you guys of a couple of more events that we have coming up. A rural strength-based approach to college applications, really, really important information. A lot of our students forget that that is something that one, colleges are looking for, and that two, they can highlight in their application. So that should be a good session. That's coming up on Tuesday, October 1st. I can't believe it's already halfway through September. It's crazy. And then a data deep dive on the impact of dual enrollment for rural students, which is a very timely topic. Most of my student schools have some kind of dual enrollment program. So interested to learn more about that. That'll be in November, on Tuesday, November 5th. Oh my gosh, that's a big day. Tuesday, November 5th at 1. And we will be sending out more details and registration information in our group. Megan, did you have anything else?
I think the next slide might have the NACAC breakfast, if you wanted to share that out. This is just a note that all of our prior learning labs are available on our YouTube. So if you're interested in any of these topics, you can go there. But yeah, Kim, if you want to go ahead and share about the breakfast.
All right, so there's a couple things happening. If you're going to NACAC, there's a SIG meeting. The Rural and Small Town SIG is happening on Friday, September 27th. And then the STARS Network, which is the group of schools that are interested in highlighting rural students and getting rural students to their campuses, is having a breakfast on Thursday, September 26th from 8 to 10. So you'll get a chance to talk to them in person about all the things that they have to offer to our students and how we can get our students to their campuses. And I think, there you go, QR code. So yeah, probably most of you are already in the SIG. That's why you are here. But if not, if you want to share this information with colleagues, or if you're not in the SIG, you just somehow found out about this and you need to join, you can scan that QR code. All right, again, thank you to Marilyn and such helpful information. Reach out to them. It'll be like Christmas when you get your package with your cards and all the fun stuff that they have to offer to our students. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.